this. That sucks. Well, we'll figure out. Hopefully it'll work okay. I'll try not to keep this video very long. We're going to cover Cardano's new USDCX, and we're going to go over what that is, why it's extremely important and a huge deal. You're going to be able to, well, you and anyone else, until Valentine's Day, between now and Valentine's Day, you could potentially win a free website up to $5,000 in value for your small business. And just click the link in the description below and run the audit. If you score under a 70, you're automatically enrolled to win. And I'm going to announce the winner. And then probably what I'll end up doing is whatever winner wins, I'm going to build their website. I'm going to make it badass. I'm not going to charge them for it. Then I'm going to show it off all over the place, including right here on YouTube. So it'll be cool. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I just started a campaign on Facebook and I've put it on LinkedIn and Twitter or X. So opportunity to win a free website because it's the time for love. And I love small businesses and, trying to build my reputation again as a quality web developer, web designer, all that. That'll be a fun thing. So notifications have been going out. We're going to go ahead and just jump right to this because I don't know how long this is going to last since I'm not hardwired. So let's get right to it. Charles Hoskinson, Cardano's, big CEO, IOHK. Well, not Cardano, IOHK's CEO, announced that USDCX is coming to Cardano. This is the moment so many people in the crypto space have been begging, pleading, screaming, crying for. And now I would have to anticipate that a lot of these same folks are now screaming and crying as though they're meeting Michael Jackson for the first time. I think that everybody should be deliriously happy about this. This isn't even the big February thing. I don't think this is the big February update because there are some people that were anticipating Charles was going to announce this from Japan a while ago. And I think just a day or two ago, he was basically hinting that there's some big stuff coming in February that's going to be fun. And he was kind of giddy and like had a twinkle in his eye. So I don't think these are the same announcements. I think there's more stuff coming in February. This is going to be pretty sick. One of the advantages of this new USDCX is fast integration time. Now, a lot of people are like, but that's not USDC, that's USDCX. What is X? Is this like Twitter? What's happening? So I found this gentleman. Cardano gets USDCX. What is it and why? Not just USDC. So we're going to help Phil out. I gave him a follow. He's only got 3,341 followers. He's building on Cardano at NMKR, and so drop him a follow. Seems like a smart guy, and he's a ginger, which means he's a mutant. We have to follow mutants and protect our kind. No, seriously, USDCX is designed for institutions seeking banking level privacy while preserving regulatory compliance. It's funny because it sounds like that's exactly what Midnight's for. It is Circle's ZK privacy version of USDC. It's integrated. Excuse me, sorry. It's integrated instead of plain native USDC because Circle skipped direct minting on Cardano, maybe due to costs, ETUXO differences, no freeze, blacklist fit, I don't know. But USDCX brings privacy and the same backing via X Reserve. Overall, it's a win for privacy and decentralization, but less for instant max liquidity, what the Cardano community had hoped for. Time for you guys to buck up and just stop complaining. You're finally getting it. And not only are you getting your USDC, you're getting it private. So it's a mixed bag, but rather good for Cardano's values. I see that its design aligns with Cardano's core principles very well, with increasing adoption of USDCX by institutions today. Apex Fusion is still at it, just so you guys know. I've been talking about Apex Fusion. I talked about them quite a bit for a year and a half, 2 years, however long. And then I lost track for a little while, but man, are they still cranking some stuff out. And I guess you can think of Apex kind of like a little bit more of a centralized version of Cardano. They basically built off of off of you know, basically Ouroboros Lausa, or not Ouroboros, and it's, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like a fork of Cardano, if you will, but they changed a lot of the innards and things like that, so it's a little more centralized. But if Tachy's succeeds, Cardano becomes the hub for achieving massive levels of scalability, capable of processing all the world's needs for financial settlement. For example, builders will be able to spin up new Cardano-based partner chains with much higher throughput and faster finality, as well as greatly reduced per transaction costs. These chains will link with Cardano mainnet, exchanging value and increasing TVL. Builders will be able to easily customize partner chains to meet the needs of their own applications. Tachy's is not a one-size-fits-all solution, Kevin Hammond in Cerebral Systems. So that's basically a big boon, of course, for Apex Fusion as well, because they're sharing a lot of the guts and things that everybody holds dear. So found that very interesting. I don't know why I put this here, other than I'm trying to win a trading challenge, and I was down on this a little bit. This is Bit Funded. They're not a sponsor of mine. I've been paying for my challenges. They're not a sponsor at all. I've burned through a few challenges trying this because it's kind of stringent. I mean, basically, you can't let your your trade demo account fall under $2,000 in a single day, or you get you're shut off. And I think the total, I can't remember what it is. I think the total might be like 4,000 or something, but that might be wrong. But anyway, I'm learning to do this in a different way, and I'm showing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, because this is our trap for Friday. Typically, when you're trading, you get a Friday trap. Can't find my daggone. There it is. So this area here is basically your Friday trap. And so I'm going to anticipate the price will not come back down to 31.5 cents over the course of this weekend, because the market makers they trapped everybody today. So if you were in a short, which I was, because you'll see this little blue line here, the price was up here. Actually, it was above the moving average. I entered the trade around here at 32.5 ish. And I basically set this line to remind me. I basically set a trigger limit short so that when the price came down here, it automatically entered a short, because I knew if it did that, it was going to go lower, and it did. And because I was waiting for this Friday trap, and I didn't know what direction it was going to go to trap people, but it basically just dumped to the downside here hard, and then it started to rise up. I sold it, as you can see, the green arrow, I sold at that point, and basically took my profit. I think I have to get this account to 54,000 to pass this test, and then I get a full funded $50,000 account. And they've been doing a lot of specials lately. Again, they're not a sponsor. They haven't paid me anything. They haven't given me shit. But I'm doing it, so I'm sharing. Maybe they'll sponsor me in the future. Who knows? But Crypto Face basically told me about this, and he's like, "Hey, man," and he sent me some Ethereum and said, "Hey, you gotta try this out. I want to see if you get how well you do." I think he's secretly trying to like beat me or something. I don't know. But anyway, I love Face. So anyway, I sold there, and then what I should have done is reversed it and rode the pump back up, but I've been so busy. I was recording another video, I was doing a bunch of stuff, so it's been difficult. But if you do decide to do any of these types of things, my advice for anyone would be to just nickel and dime it one way or the other, because that way you don't get liquidated quickly. Because I think this is the $50,000 advanced challenge, and it's like $500 to do, but they've been doing a lot of 2-for-1 sales. And I guess they've been wildly popular. So it's like $500. So ultimately it's like $250, and then you get 2 challenges. So if you screw up one, you get another one, you can try again. But when you pass the challenges, you basically get a full, like for this one in particular, I'll get a $50,000 trade book to trade with. And there's still rules and things. You can't go crazy. You can't be stupid or degenerate with it, or you're going to lose that too. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to take it slow, because I don't want to blow this up. because I want a funded account. So, and they're not a sponsor. They haven't given me one. So I got to earn it like everyone else. So I'm going to try and do my best. I really wish I would have got that. Or if I would have just rode this and I said, okay, then do a trigger sell. I actually did this manually. I didn't trigger sell. So, when I saw it get down here, I'm like, oh, okay. It started to pull back up a little bit. I'm like, this is the Friday trap. And I exited, and I should have went back into a long, and I would have already passed the test. But whatever, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's Friday. That's what it is. It's the weekend. And man, I got to get some website jobs. Let me just tell you that. But this is Dirty Leopard. If you're curious at all about what I'm doing, you know, I've got a bunch of awesome articles that are going to teach you a whole bunch of stuff. Make sure you check that out. If you have a small business and you need a small business website, there are a lot of different things. If you have an old site, this isn't a gimmick. If you have an old site, just click SEO audit, put in your name, your email, and your website URL and run audit, and it will tell you everything wrong with your site and why it's not ranking. It'll give you it'll tell you how fast your website loads, what you could do to fix it. But then of course I'm going to email you probably, and I'm going to say, hey, I noticed your website like really didn't do well on the audit. Let me help you. But I'm not going to call you. I'm just going to email you and see if there's a deal there. And if not, then I'll leave you the hell alone. It's okay. But anyway, check out your site at my free SEO audit. It doesn't cost you a daggone thing. And it's very, very, very intuitive and very informative and helpful. I haven't even optimized all of my sites yet. I'm going to get to that because, you know, I want everything to be like over 85 to 100. So I'll get there. And then, of course, it's cryptocrow.io. There's all kinds of bells, whistles, articles, and guides. I have been working a lot with Molt-Bot, Clawdbot, whatever the hell it's called today. I feel like every day it's something different. I think now it's OpenClaw. It's becoming its own ecosystem. And what else I've also noticed is, so the first time I installed this on my Mac, I had a bunch of other stuff on the Mac, and I realized just how powerful this was. Very intuitive. It was capable of building anything, doing anything, and I put it to work, and it was great. Then I started thinking, well, then I woke up the next day, and I noticed that it wasn't working the same. Something was off. It wasn't like a security thing. I'm not 100% sure what it was doing. And I thought, you know what? Because I don't fully understand every nuance of this thing, let me wipe the computer. I want to start it clean. I'm going to give it its own email account, basically its own everything, right? So that whatever it gets into, it's its own stuff. None of my credit cards, none of my real data is on the machine. But I have this Apple M2 Max with 98 gigs of RAM on it that I bought a while back. I just haven't used it for a whole hell of a lot. I'm like, I'm going to make this my AI bot. I've got Llama 3.3 70 billion parameter model running on it right now, and it runs smooth as butter. So but when I reinstalled Clawdbot, all of a sudden it got stupid. It can't do anything. If I tell it to do something, it's like, yeah, sure, I'll tell you how to get this done. And it gives me a bunch of vague, and I'm like, what the hell happened? How did you get so stupid? And I'm asking it all these questions like, why are you stupid? Why aren't you nearly as clever or good as you were the first time I installed you? And apparently it's because all of my permissions and all of the stuff in my computer was reset to factory. And so now I have to figure out, how do I get it back to the way it was? And I'm trying to find some support on that. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. It'd be very, very helpful. I've been using Grok and Llama. Grok is the best for I asked it a question today about Molt-Bot, and it told me how it changed its name again. So anyway, yeah, that was that. This is the Billy Bolt's website that I had built for my game. I haven't been working on this recently. I just kind of wanted to show it as another example of a website that I built. All kinds of stuff. There's a game in here. There's all kinds of things. And then this is Zempify. This is my CRM for mortgage loan officers. If you're a mortgage loan officer and you need a CRM to keep track of all of your clients and your deals and your agent relationships and all of that stuff, especially as interest rates are hopefully going to get cut again. I know that they just froze rates for the time being, but yeah, we'll see. I hope my audio is not bad. Is my audio bad? Let me check, because that would really suck. No, my microphone is good. My microphone should be very good. I'm redlining right by the yellow. I think it's you, Bloodsville. So anyway, that's Zempify.com. So if you need a CRM for your mortgage business, check it out. Let me know. You know, I've got a lot of stuff that I'm working on, and I'm hoping ultimately to change a lot about, audio is fine. Good. I thought so. I just checked it and I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty good. I've been so busy. I'm trying to like get enough work done today that I can enjoy my weekend. You know, I watched Cardano drop. I watched basically everything in the world ultimately drop the other day. Was that yesterday? I don't know. My days have been running together. I'm grinding from the time I wake up. And I as frustrating as it is, I still can't help but feel like all of this is just a big precursor for the major transition that's coming. And like I've said many times, the gold, silver, everything pumping, TradFi, all of this stuff pumping. I think personally, and like crypto not pumping, right? Doesn't it sound odd? Doesn't it seem odd? You know what I mean? We're right on the line between an infrastructure bill that ultimately changes the way crypto works, opens the floodgates for just about everything. And the only thing holding it up is, you know, basically the banks trying to say, well, we don't want to be forced to compete. We control the world and we want to keep it that way. And then you have all the politicians that are backing them up, basically saying, yeah, we need to protect our banks because they're the ones that give us all this money to keep us in office for 50 fucking years while we're falling all over ourselves, screwing the people. We want to keep that. So that's kind of what's holding up a lot of this stuff. And, you know, it just passed recently, like a committee just passed it by one vote. And so there's a lot of like, you know, concern, like what's happening. I can't help but feel like one way or another, this is all going to happen. And when it does, we're going to see all of the pumps from gold, silver, TradFi, all of this stuff. We're going to see a lot of the, I would almost hazard a guess and to say the difference between where we were, you know, at the like the first day of Trump's presidency. Everything that all the growth that we've seen, or a big chunk of that growth, is going to flow into the crypto space as the world tokenizes everything. And I think I think it's going to send everything to the moon. I really do. It's like, it's hard not to think that way when you read as much as I've read and I've seen so many things. It's frustrating right now because the institutions are trying to get rid of us and they're trying to spray raid everywhere because they look at us like cockroaches. And, you know, some of us are scurrying off and we're going to do other things. And then some of us are still here. And like I posted on X the other day, like I didn't come this far to just get this far. And I've been working a lot with the SETS token and working on helping build that ecosystem and everything associated with that. And it's nice when I see the market drop, but like my SETS tokens are fine. They haven't done anything because it's not a big enough market. It's kind of a niche thing. So it's like the price has been moving based on people buying it to use it, and it's not getting dumped by degenerates anytime the market dumps and the market makers are manipulating things down. So that's nice. I mean, I'm just kind of in a place where I'm trying to keep busy. I'm really trying to get this Clawdbot set up because there's so many different things that I'm doing and I really do need the help. And so I'm definitely going to be working out systems to start including some really good AI content on this channel moving forward, maybe starting next week. We'll see. Because there is going to be a day in the not so distant future where AI and blockchain are one and the same. And so I want to kind of pivot to that, and I want to start covering a lot of that. I'm big into robotics. I'm big into artificial intelligence. I'm big into crypto and blockchain. All of this stuff is going to be working hand in hand. And, I'm not going to be the best or the biggest ever, but I at least want to be somebody that everyone can rely on to be straight up with a real opinion, not just something that's been bought and paid for because of my bags or whatever. So that's that. I just wanted to kind of get that out there and let everybody know, hey man, enjoy your weekend. Hey girl, enjoy your weekend. Like whatever. Make sure you click the link down below if you're interested in winning a free website. If this campaign goes well and it happens to bring me some business, I might do one a month. But I don't know. We'll see. If I'm hoping that it brings me some actual jobs, as well as, you know, allows me to help somebody that maybe really needs the help. Maybe they don't have a budget, they can't afford it. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but got a couple weeks, 14 days, 9 hours, 21 minutes. Yeah, I mean, you can win a free website, man. And these are going to be free badass websites. These aren't like crap tastic sites. Like, these are going to be sick websites. So I don't know. I figure maybe once this campaign's over and people see, maybe depending on who it is, I'll be able to bring them on the channel and be like, listen, I built your website for free. How is it helping you? What are you doing with it? And just turn it into a monthly thing if it works out. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how to stay busy. Let's go ahead and get to some some of your questions. I just saw one that's funny. I'll get to you. Let's see. Yo, Crow. Let's go, Cardano. Please explain. I don't know what USCx is or why I should care. Well, I did that, so maybe you came in late. But basically, it's the ZK rollup version of USDC, so we can do those transactions in private, just like midnight. So it should integrate very easily with Cardano. USDCX, you forgot the D, Crow. Did I? Sorry. I should try to pass the test too. Yeah, I mean, basically the audit is basically just telling you, you know, everything wrong with your website, and you don't rank well in search engines if your SEO score is low. It just doesn't help you at all. So and you know, you'll see like some of the sites I have optimized in my portfolio, some of them I haven't yet, because it's a bit of a process, but my goal is to have all of my sites optimized above 85 to 90%. I think the one that I focused on the most recently, I think I got it to 95% out of 100. And a lot of this runs through, it uses AI for the audit, but it puts a lot of it through like Google's metrics and things as well. So it's like a solid, real audit. So companies charge money for this free audit, right? So, and a lot of the other free audits out there are crap. So this is actually a pretty cool one. Crow is hustling. Yes, I'm hustling. I'm working it. I got to get busy, man. I got to get busy. I don't want to sell my ADA. I don't want to sell anything. I want to just ride this wave of confusion out as best I can. So I got to go back to my roots and get busy. I'd love to really start consulting with mortgage companies again, but you know, I have to figure that out when I get there. I feel like it's going to be down even more in the next months. Too many people seem to be willing it this way. I'm selling half my bit and holding to see if it happens. I will me to see Cardano get down to, let's see, where is my I guess I can make this one bigger. I'll pull this chart up and make it bigger for everyone to see. This is Cardano, and I got some kind of notification. Hold on. We're going to open this up a bit. That's the market cap. Look at that market cap dominance going back up for Bitcoin. And you can see Cardano coming back down. So that's not it. Where's the big wick? Where's the big wick? Let me go to, I'll go to a 4 hour and it'll probably be easier to find. Yeah. I thought about, because of the big liquidation event on October 10th, and everybody was getting their accounts liquidated. I thought, man, this sucks, because there was something about it that told me that so much of the price action is orchestrated with these market makers. Like, they already know where prices are going. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, you know, maybe there's a chance, right? Maybe there's a chance that this is just stupid. It was a fluke. You know, cascading orders being liquidated, one thing led to another. It was like a domino effect, and maybe it was legit. I don't think so. It's crypto. And I mean, until the infrastructure bill passes, I don't think anything is legit in crypto for the most part nowadays. And I thought there's a chance that we work ourselves all the way down to this again. And sure enough, we've been doing that. And I was in the Trade Travel Chill Discord the other day, and Annie, the goddess of trading, she had made a comment how she could see Cardano getting down to the wick at 27. Or she said it's October wick. And I'm like, and I looked and I'm like, that's right. That was that 27-cent wick. And we're almost there. So at this point, if we work our way down and we touch that and then we start a hard reversal, a part of me is wondering how many assets. Let me take a look at Bitcoin real quick. I want to look at this. I want to see where we're at with its October wick. Well, I don't even have it here. This was the 10th. So that wick, it's already way lower than that wick was. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that a lot of other altcoins suffered a similar fate to Cardano. So I'm going to basically say that I would hazard it a safe bet that we're going to hit this 27-cent mark again. And that maybe that is a hard point of support that we then bounce off of. And I'm wondering if by the time we get here or we wick to it a second time will be about around the time when the infrastructure bill passes and we start making an uptrend. And the market starts turning around, especially if once that is passed, depending on the dates and that when it goes active and all of that stuff, that could very well be the gate opening for the transition out of TradFi, gold, silver, everything else to really start pushing up the primary assets. So that's what I think is absolutely possible, but we'll see. I don't know for sure. I'm just hazarding a guess, but that's what I think is likely happening. There are too many bullish elements and money invested already for not to have a rip at some point. But again, I think the infrastructure bill is the holdup. Here for the long term, no matter what. Friggin' bought Circle at $77, now down to 63. I never know when to buy. That's why I always tell people, like, if you're going to get into crypto and you really don't know and you're just unsure, you just average in, average out. It's the best you can do. I mean, unfortunately now, because of how long everything's been going, people like me, man, who I've been living off my investments for years, since 2021. And, it's like, I'm out of money, man. I can't afford to buy anymore. I'm just trying to not have to sell what I have left. So, yeah, but if you have an opportunity to average your entry down, well, it makes all the sense in the world if you believe in it long term. Is your wife going to divorce you because you lost all that money with Cardano? No. Actually, everything's been going much, much better. Everything's been going really good. It had nothing to do with Cardano or any of that stuff. Maybe my stress levels played a role in that. I think a lot of what was happening was, we've been together 15 years and people change, man. Like, I don't know what to say other than people change, and people change dramatically, especially as you get into your 40s. I'll just say that. And I just think that there are a lot of chemical changes, hormonal changes, stress levels, so many different things change. And, that's it. I think it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, it's time to pivot life and focus on other things that are more important, more meaningful, better, more productive. And, I went through several months. I mean, the last year has been really, really, really difficult and stressful, which is what I think induced like my cervical radiculopathy. I was basically crippled for 3 months. Just everything about me as an individual was completely fried fried. I shit you not. I know that I've been emotional on YouTube for years here and there about different things. You know, I get really touched by talent, you know, like an amazing singer or choir music for whatever reason. Like really good choir music always gets me emotional. I can't set foot in a church without being extremely emotional. There are just a lot of things that get me emotional. But I've really struggled a lot with my pinched nerve in my neck, my arm literally feeling like it was being torn out constantly, 24/7 for months. I mean, that's what it was. There's nothing I could do where my arm didn't feel like it was being torn out. And it got to the point where I was shaking constantly. My nervous system was absolutely fried. And I was just emotional every day, and uncontrollably emotional every day. I couldn't contain it. I just couldn't contain it, couldn't control it. It was so bad. I was not me in any way, shape, or form. I was dead inside. Like I was so, you know, it was so bad, honest to God. You know, like basically anything could have happened and I would have welcomed it. That's basically where I was. And then I started thinking to myself, and I know your question was a joke, but it kind of triggered this. So sorry. But there, I feel I got a lot of messages too about a lot of these things. So I figured I'd fill everyone in. You know, it's just, let's just put it this way. You know, marriage overall, to me, I've always said I'm getting married once. And, you know, we have an amazing daughter together. And my wife is an amazing woman. It's just like how do you explain it? Like when you've been together, when you've been with somebody for so long and you're both changing in different ways, you can either change together and grow together and create a whole new experience in life, or you can let it tear you apart. And I just think that, you know, I've always been an extremely loyal person. I've always been a very honest person. And my wife knows that. But there's a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it. But ultimately, I think we've found our peace and we've found our new trajectory and like what we want out of this next phase of our lives. And that's it. Like I'm working out every day. I'm meditating every morning. I'm doing a lot of things to kind of help me get more peace. So that I can be more focused and clear and driven and like, you know, to be very honest with you, I think that since 2017, you know, I made so much money so quickly, and the imposter syndrome, and there are just so many elements to that and everything I had accomplished on YouTube. I think to an extent it ruined, like it was as bad as it was good. Like here I am now, I have my holdings, but they're not worth it anywhere near as much as they once were. You know, and it's just like, I'm trying to get back to, okay, I have to grind. I have to really work again. How do I do this? What's my approach? You know, where's the world today? Are my talents, are my skills still useful? You know, like what is my value as a man, as a husband, as a father? Like, who am I right now? What am I capable of? I'm 48. I'm fearful. I want to be useful. I want to be accomplished. There's just a lot of things, you know, I wake up every day and this is my thought process. What can I do to be useful today? What can I do to establish a legacy, to continue building on my name and security for my family? And, you know, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And that's where I'm at. Yeah, but I mean, as far as like everything else, everything has been really, really good. And it's just compromise and reestablishing your grounds and where you are and where you want to be. And I'm just getting into that for anyone else out there who, you know, maybe you're married, you've been married for 5 years or 6 years or 10 years. And, you know, you're going to reach a point where I feel like it's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine recently and we were talking about marriage, and he's like, I have had to fall in love with my wife probably 13 times in the 25 years we've been married. And he was like, I've always been the same dude. And I think that there's a lot of truth to that. Women change dramatically even my wife was telling me, I think a woman changes dramatically, like her physical brain and her like makeup, emotionally, hormonally, her everything changes at least 3 times over her life. I think the first one was puberty. Second one is after childbirth. And the third one is menopause. And those 3 periods of a woman's life, they completely change. And, you know, us men, we're pretty much the same doofuses we've always been. Not much changes with us, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. And so, yeah, like, I think that this is one of those situations where I too needed to change a lot of things about me and my life and the way I live. I mean, my wife used to tell me I was a Debbie Downer all the time. And I never really fully understood what that meant. I was just so stressed out and so full of fear of losing everything I had accumulated and built. And every day that fear controlled me. I never left the house. Security was always a concern of mine. I was just ruled and controlled by everything that I did on crypto, on YouTube, you name it. I never wanted to leave the house. I didn't allow myself to live at all. I didn't want to put my focus or energy on anything that wasn't an immediate benefit to my mission, what I'm trying to build or accomplish. And here we are, you know, the market is down across the board. Everybody's been wrong a million times about everything. We're restructuring, transitioning out of the old way into this new way, and the world is changing, and I'm changing too, and my family's changing. And what I value is just, you know, it doesn't matter how much you fear something or how much you work for something. It doesn't matter what you put in sometimes. When the world is the world, it's going to change and it's going to do what it's going to do, whether it benefits you or not. So yeah, don't let the world get you down. Don't let everything stress you out so bad that you're watching the world you're trying so hard to protect fall apart around you because you're just so consumed with all the negativity and all of the bullshit going on in the world. It's not worth it. Focus on you. Focus on yourself. Focus on the people that are around you that love you. And yeah, I had to pull myself out of a hole. It's basically what that all boils down to. Hopefully this whole like rant or speech or whatever helps anybody. But yeah, think about doing, I've been on TRT for 10 years. So I can guarantee Crow isn't broke. He is just smart and is trying to work while the markets are down instead of liquidating his hard-earned asset. Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm not, I haven't started an OnlyFans or anything yet. But at the same time, all the Gay for Crow people in my chat have left too. So I don't even think OnlyFans would do that well. So yeah, that's out. I think I'll just stick with building websites and maybe doing some mortgage coaching. The A to BTC wick on Binance hit 261 sats. I'm more interested in that. It didn't go that low on any other exchange though. Because Binance to me is a shit show. I don't know what else to say. But I feel like it doesn't even matter what we got USDC. We just keep getting effed over. It's not Cardano. Okay. You know what? Everything I just said about me, my fears, everything I was dealing with, trying to protect, trying to resolve, all of that, while I felt like the world was falling apart around me, right? Not just like immediate around me, but like everywhere around me, around in this country and the world. And it wouldn't matter what I did, the result would still be the same because I can't control the world around me. Cardano could cure cancer tomorrow as an asset somehow, and it's not going to stop the entire market from transitioning and all of the wheels behind the scenes turning in the directions they're turning to facilitate this transition out of the old way and into the new. And if that means that the entire market has to fall first for whatever reason, liquidity purposes, liquidating all of the leverage traders and getting them out of the way, like whatever it is that's happening right now, it wouldn't change that direction until that direction is meant to be changed. So it doesn't matter if Cardano gets USDC today or not. The numbers are still going to fall the same way they're going to fall. What's going to change is how quickly this asset or another asset turns around and rises up against the rest when the time comes. That's what's so important today. So when I see things like USDCX and Cardano, I'm thinking that's going to be a huge boon when the time comes. That's going to send Cardano up when the time comes. And in the midst of that, we're going to have a lot of different apps and things launching and being announced in the interim. So, yeah, and I'm very curious to see what Charles has in store for February, quite frankly. Crow, do you pray everything is possible with God? Christ is king. I don't the way you probably do. It's hard to explain, and it's a very personal thing. But more of that will be understood later because I'm working on something, and I have been working on it for years now. And I think I'm at a point where it's really ready, and I think you'll understand a lot about how I look at a lot of that. You're right. I wish I had known this before marriage. Crow, start a page about not getting married for the young guys. I personally love being married. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a young single man today. Because quite frankly, I think the majority of women have just been snowed so hard by so much bullshit. And I think that it's a narrative that has been pushed on young women to create division between men and women and I think a lot of that boils down to the nuclear family being the enemy of tyrannical efforts that are meant to replace all of those systems, all of those things that give us strength and unity, sound mind, sound body. All of those things are being ripped apart through the media, through advertising, it's all profiteering and capitalism at its best. And so many people that I see that are basically struggling and saying, down with capitalism, down, they're all playing a role in it. How many times did you go to Starbucks in the past 2 months to buy your coffee? How much makeup do you wear on your face every day that you're buying from Revlon or this company or that company? What about your designer clothes, your designer shoes, your handbags? All of those things are a form of capitalism that you ultimately support while you're sitting around screaming about all of the anti-capitalism rhetoric that you and your friends are spouting, but then you go and text each other on your fucking iPhones. Nothing makes any sense, and everyone is a complete hypocrite. The problem is that when you break everything down to its core, it's all about individualizing everyone in a way that allows none of us to work together, be together, live together, or function as a unit. Because as a unit, we have so much more power and control. That is ultimately why the world is being divided. Because it's easier to control the haves than it is to control the whole. And as long as we continue fighting one another about the dumbest shit, as long as we continue allowing ourselves to be manipulated and gaslit and lied to and fucked with by every form of media we surround ourselves with, whether it's the AI video clips and bullshit that we see on social media, or it's just the main network news that everybody's glued to on a regular basis for their daily dose of propaganda bullshit. And it doesn't matter what side you're on or which one you're watching, it's all generally about the same. And it just creates these narratives that keeps everyone divided. And the reality is if we were able to just look beyond what the media and what all these corporations and all of these controlling figures with so much money that they're dumping into establishing the chaos, if we could just look past all of that into the individuals across the street and recognize the fact that we're all human and we're all suffering in some way, shape, or form, and we all have our own stories to tell. If we were just able to look past all the bullshit and accept each other for the differences that we have and figure out again how to coexist none of the shit that has been going on across the globe would be able to happen. And that's it. And that's the kind of shit that gets me fucked up. And that's the kind of thing that I'm always trying to let go of. That's what makes me the Debbie Downer. It's just constantly stressing the world's issues and the world's problems and knowing there really isn't much of anything I can do about any of it. But if a part of my life and the fact that I'm this gray-haired dude who I remember when I first started on YouTube, I didn't have any gray hair. You know, it's like we just need to change our tune, man. Before things get really, really bad. I mean, you know, women started around on all the social media talking about, I don't need a man, I don't need a man. And now all of a sudden they're all single and lonely, and they're realizing that the money they make from their OnlyFans accounts really isn't fulfilling them at all, because they'd want a little one running around or a family or something that now, because of their selfishness and their ignorance and their bravado and everything else, they painted themselves into a corner that now they really can't get out of. And it sucks. It really does suck. But I will say this, people can change. People can absolutely change. The mistakes of yesterday don't make you who you are today. They don't have to. They don't have to define your future either. There's a way out if you open your eyes and you can wake up and you can see the error of your path and the error of your ways and what you've done and how it didn't help benefit you or really anyone else. And, you know, you start focusing on the things that are actually important. And, you know, I'm seeing some of that happen now. I'm seeing some of the different viral clips and the video clips and things going on in the world. And, you know, it definitely, it sucks for young. I mean, I think about my sons, man, and I think, you know, my oldest son is married and he's been married now for a few years. And my younger son, he has a great girlfriend he loves very much. She's a total sweetheart. And it's like, I'm glad they have them. You know what I mean? Because nowadays it's slim pickings, but it's slim pickings across the board. The men are just as flawed. And I feel like a lot of times nowadays, a lot of men are flawed because of the bullshit they've had to deal with women. I don't think men start off as pigs and bullshit men and like whatever. I don't think men start off that way. I think they're ultimately, they feed off each other, you know, men and women, they feed off each other, finding each other when one isn't ready, finding one a different, just all of the nuances associated with the dating life, the social world, and the changes that come with that over time based on the lessons you've learned. Some people become, you know, women haters, and some people just like, they don't trust anybody. Some people, I don't know. It's different for everyone. I've trusted Crow from the beginning, and he has never given me bad advice. Well, that's good. I'm always right sometimes. But you know, all I can do is I just give it to you straight, man. If it helps, it helps. If it doesn't, well, I don't know. Meditate on it. It's all changing now. We're on the right path. I believe so. Starting today for the next month, not sure on the timeline, Binance is going to be purchasing $1 billion of Bitcoin. I mean, that's all cool. That's all cool. Everything is going to be tokenized. I mean, by 2030, we're not even going to recognize the world we're in. And we've got 4 years to go. I think that for the grand agendas associated with like everything that's going to be transitioning into this whole like quote unquote new world order by 2030, you know, listen, whether we like it or not, blockchain is going to be at the forefront of that along with AI. That's how they're going to establish this whole grand new world order. And I think that, you know, a lot of people seem to think that Trump is the deliverer or the disruptor of this whole globalist new world order regime. Quite frankly, I'm sorry to say this. I believe I'm happy and I'm grateful for a lot of what the current administration has been doing, but I hate to say it this way, but I also can't. How do I explain this? when you reach a position of power that powerful, you're still not that powerful. And we are all human men. We all have to eat, sleep, rinse and repeat. And we all have a schedule. We all have things that we have to do. And I think that everyone is a potential victim of powers that just aren't publicly known. I don't know how I'm trying to explain this. I think the message sounds great. And I think, I think that, as I've always said, the political pendulum always swings back and forth. And when that happens, like back in the day, I mean, oh gosh, Bush Cheney made me want to vomit. Everything that they touched, everything that they said, I wanted to throw up. And at the time I loved Obama. I'm like, hell yeah, man, Obama, let's change the world. The world's fucked up. Like, let's go Obama. And then in hindsight, you see everything he did. I'm like, wow, that dude was terrible. Like, but the pendulum swings back and forth, and most of us only know what we're told by our media. And you can only dig so deep because so much is kept under wraps. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't really matter who is in office. They are always going to be playing some role in the overall grander agenda on a global scale. That's what I'm trying to say. Right now, I think Trump is that de facto, like, the world is siding with him. The world is looking to him for answers because everything else has been so screwed up. I mean, let's be real about it. We were in Weekend at Bernie's for so long where everything was written by an auto pen. The president wouldn't even know, like, is this a diaper or a writing utensil? Like, I don't really know. I just want to go back to sleep. Like, we lived through that, and there were so many people with their own agenda that were using basically Biden's face to do whatever the hell they wanted to do, and it didn't go so well for anyone. And so the country got so fed up that they basically said, okay, we need something so different and so dramatically outside of the scope of what we're used to with all of these corrupt politicians. Let's go for the guy that just tells you you're retarded. And let's go for the guy that literally speaks his mind. There's hardly ever a teleprompter, which is why, unfortunately, he repeats himself ad nauseum about every win, everything that just ingratiates himself constantly, which does get annoying. It's hard for me to even listen to, even though I think a lot of what he's done is pretty good for the most part. But it's all the hypocritical bullshit from right to left. What's Trump? How many people has ICE deported? 700,000, 750,000? Do we realize that while the world is going ape shit over ICE deporting people, that Clinton, Obama, all of the presidents before deported millions of people? Like, it's just like everything is so nonsensical. But the only thing that does make sense to me is that the world is transitioning, period. We're transitioning. Whether we end up in a technocracy or something to that effect, I don't know. But the world is transitioning, and I think Trump is ultimately the person that was selected and chosen to spearhead all of these dramatic changes with the I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I think you get the point. But anyway, it's Friday. I've had enough. I'm done. I actually have to finish out my day before I pick my daughter up from school. Yeah, go win a website. Link is in the description below. I need to stop rambling. Read some of the information about it, and just set it up. And that's about it. I'm just going to grind through the weekend. We're going to try and have some family time. We've really been getting hooked on the Big Bang Theory, which I've never watched. We just started watching it a few weeks ago. I absolutely love it. So yeah, we're going to have family night watching Big Bang Theory tonight. And then, I don't know, see what the weekend has in store. Listen, stay safe, folks. And if you need a website for your business, just go to dirtyleopard.com, fill out the little contact form and let me know. And I promise I'll build a badass website for you. That's it. You're 1,000% right. That's all that matters is the transition, identity, value, and ride the train up. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Everything else is noise. The world is transitioning out of TradFi, out of the old way of doing things, out of the dollar. We're transitioning into the blockchain space with stable coins and everything else. Everything else surrounding that is just noise and misdirection and misguidance. So ignore it. Focus on what we know is happening. Until next time, thanks for joining me, folks. I'm the Crypto Crow. Crow your coins. I'll see you soon. You're welcome. Love you too. See you guys.